Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS and the inventor of the Ctks method and BORSOG trading. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is down 0.07% to 24,392. Who was that masked man? Ethereum is up 1.16% to 1980. Thank you for tuning in. I love sharing this time together. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the masterclass links, the tax software I use, and you can always directly message me on Twitter at any time. To prime our minds for profitability in the crypto market, we have the Ctks Creed, which is just a series of affirmations you can talk to yourself about because these are important. You need to get the right mental outlook on the market. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities and life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. We're going to talk a little bit about investing and trading and the different mindsets required for both. But before we do that, let's get into Bitcoin. We use BORSOG ANF charting because we need to understand what if price goes against us? What if price goes nowhere or goes for us? Where could it go? Where could it go from an upwards direction and a downwards direction? Price always reveals the truth of where it's going. Bitcoin is currently trading at 24,366. We can see this green area. This is for us. And we notice that Bitcoin has held this support line quite well. This is quite a tight support line drawn from way back. Unlike other channels or influencers, we don't draw trend lines to fit price action. We draw them to fit market structure. There's a huge difference. And what we actually see is price got under this support line. It was under resistance and looked like it was going to go down, but then it surprised everyone and did what it did and came back up. This is why we need three-dimensional decision making, or BORSOG ANF, against, nowhere, and for. If Bitcoin continues to hold this support line, it will continue to rise. If it starts to break under this support line and turns it to resistance, we would expect the next level for Bitcoin around the 21,800 mark. So just keep this in mind. We're getting up over this resistance playing in here at currently 24,565. It's not doing too badly, but of course it's weekend trading. And on the weekends, Bitcoin can be very volatile. It can come up and down because it's all about the liquidity in the market. There's really not much liquidity in the market across the weekends, so it doesn't take that much money to move price substantially. From a very basic level, we can see that we have two layers of support. One layer of support coming in on Bitcoin's price around 2450. And another layer of support around 23,672. Just keep these numbers in mind. Please let me know in the comments, where do you think Bitcoin will go in the next 24 hours? And do you have your ANF strategy all fleshed out and actionable? We know all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. And when you look at it, investors buy and sell, and traders buy and sell. And what's the difference? Investors typically dollar cost average or hold on for dear life while they're doing so. They expect upward price momentum. And this is good because dollar cost averaging strategies are trying to capture these particular downturns. When the expectation is for price to continue upwards, investing is a pretty good strategy. When price starts to consolidate, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. That's a different thing. Because a lot of investment strategies are trend following strategies, when you get to consolidation, all those trend following strategies tend to break. All the indicators tend to break because they're meant for trend following. It's just a statistical probability that they're focused on. And when markets roll over and start to come down, people tend to go short. But going short has its own risks. You can actually lose more than you fund your account with. The CTKS Masterclass is full of different rules to help you to reach profitability and maintain it. Rule 4 is a critical one. Price moves in waves. If you're in synchronization with the market, you'll do really well. And if you're not in synchronization with the market, that's a bit of a problem. You can have a wipeout. Rule 621, BORSOG, buy on red, sell on green. BORSOG is actually a market synchronization trading tool to get you into riding each wave and not wiping yourself out. It's all about synchronizing in with the market, and when you're synchronized, when you're riding the wave really beautifully, you start to scale up. When you find that the trade is turning against you, you start to desynchronize, you descale, and it's going around this particular process just with coffee money trades. What you're actually doing, and the most important thing with BORSOG, is you're getting into sync with the market. You can BORSOG effectively in any market type. Upward trending markets, you can BORSOG. Consolidating markets, you can BORSOG. And downward trending markets, you can BORSOG. Lena said a couple of days ago, BORSOG is probably the only way to make money in these unique times. It's very likely a trader's market for the next 2, maybe 3 years. Now, what does this actually mean? Does it mean you can only trade crypto for the next 2 to 3 years? No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean that crypto will transform itself into some sort of index like the NASDAQ or the S&P 500, the Dow? We got to think, do we trade indices in stock markets? Yes, we do. So that's not it either. It's basically that we've seen a cyclical bull run of so many decades play out in the market. If we come into a retracement, it's going to capture a lot of people off guard. And therefore, if you just learn how to BORSOG, you will do increasingly well. BORSOG doesn't care about the market direction. It doesn't require a trend. Depending on the market conditions, sometimes you need to require yourself to exercise patience. And patience is spelled P-A-Y, patience. Because patience pays. When you're in a downtrending market, patience pays to see things turning around and getting up, and then you just sell on the way up. And you can do exactly the same thing here. The returns from actual BORSOGing will exceed those from investing. No question about it. And I can hear you say, Ken, your coffee is too strong. What are you talking about? Investing is the way to go. Well, not necessarily. If you could turn 2% per day out of $100, you'd have $138,000 at the end of 12 months if you kept on compounding it. This is a fairly good return on investment. A lot of people say, oh, buying on red, selling on green, that's really, really easy. It's just like parking a car. Anybody can do it with a license. And yet we see time and time again people parking the cars but not very well. BORSOGing requires a lot of knowledge, and those knowledge foundations are inside the masterclass. And the other thing is that there's nothing wrong with hodling if you're prepared to hodl through the good times and the bad times. But I would suggest you take a little bit, a small percentage of your investment portfolio, if you're just a investor by nature, and seek to BORSOG into the market. You'll learn so much more, and you'll better time your market entries and market exits. It's a very, very valuable skill to have. But always do your three-dimensional thinking. Use BORSOG ANF. You know that the trade and investment can go against you, go nowhere, or go for you. You need 3 simultaneous strategies in your mind. not just the go for you strategy. Remember, you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. We've been tracking the markets quite extensively, and we know the VIX is very, very sold off. What would you do, for example, if the VIX spiked and prices came down inside the crypto market? Are you prepared for that? What is your strategy? Do you have a strategy? How would you action it? Please let me know in the comments. This is really important to discuss. And what about if price did the exact opposite and rallied very, very strongly from this point on? How would you action your ANF strategy then? And if price goes absolutely nowhere, just flattens out, just consolidates through this range, how would you action your ANF strategy then? You must have an ANF strategy. Total crypto market cap increased 0.46% over the past 24 hours to 1.17 trillion, and we can see the greatest gainers over the past 24 hours. Celsius up a little over 29%, Matic nearly 11% up, Nexo nearly 10% up, LDO nearly 5% up, OKB just a little over 4.5% up, and ADA, Cardano, good on you Charles, 3.52% up. Looking towards the greatest losers in the past 24 hours in the top 100, Anchor down 6.55%, Ape down 4.9%, Filecoin 4.4% down, Synthetics 3.7% down, Convex Finance CVX down about 3.5%. We know that we must understand Bitcoin's gravity because no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. That's Rule 45. What are we seeing with the longs and the shorts? The longs are coming out of the market. They're very, very lacking in confidence. And the shorts are coming into the market, but they're wavering a little bit. Let's check out the liquidations. Over the past 24 hours, there's been about 220 million in liquidations across a little over 48,000 positions. And when we look at the past 24 hours, total liquidations about 62% short. What about the past 12 hours? Whoa, gone the other way, 51% long. Past 4 hours, 50% long. Past hour, nearly 61% short. This shows that the longs and shorts are always liquidating each other. And from an overall perspective, we can see that the shorts have outweighed the longs in terms of liquidations over the past 24 hours. And that's about the same yesterday. And the day before, more longs were getting liquidated than the shorts, but we've been noticing upward price momentum at the present time. Before you buy or sell, it's really important to master yourself to master the market, which is Rule 774. I've been in financial markets for more than 3 decades, and what we do inside the masterclass is discuss real wealth and positive excellence before the trigger section. This is incredibly important. Without emotional control, mastery of emotional control, Rule 734, you will buy when you should sell and sell when you should buy. That can be devastating to your portfolio. Mastering yourself is made much, much easier by focusing on positive excellence and maintaining real wealth foundations, such as kindness, integrity, decency, gratitude, happiness, inner and outer peace. You'll find if you do all the right things, the money and the success will come. And if you do the wrong things, the money and the success will be very temporary. Yesterday, we discussed what is forgiveness and how is it practically applied. It's a very tricky subject. For example, without forgiveness, people stay stuck in the panic zone and the blame zone. This is where the lose money rules are applied. You don't want to be in there. You want to get out as quickly as you can into zone 3, which is the make money rule zone, and zone 4, which is keep money rules. As Peter said, forgiveness is a tough one. Releasing yourself from those negative emotions and negative things that happen to you. For example, forgiveness, you don't have to forgive a very pleasant or pleasurable act. That's a good thing. But we need forgiveness for those unpleasant things that happen to us. And Peter said, it took years before I could reconcile my anger. It changed me. And toxicity is a byproduct of not forgiving. And it's really, really hard to forgive some incidences that happen in life. And of course, some people. Peter has a really good story in there. I urge you read it. And Peter said, I made the decision to forgive but not to forget. That was a massive weight off my shoulders. After that moment, it can occur instantaneously with forgiveness. You never forgive the other person, you only forgive yourself. Peter said, I can now move forward in life with the handbrake off. When it comes to trading and investing, if you can't forgive a bad trade or a bad investment, you'll become stuck. For any trader and any investor, and we know all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell, so literally everybody is actually a trader. They just have different holding positions. So Bildy said, mental toughness and grit was required by Peter to get through that. And Flamingo said, having the strength to do the internal work polished you. That is really beautiful. And Al said something terrific. Al said he went through a similar situation, but forgiveness made him be able to move on with his life. Best decision I ever made. How beautiful is that? Life is so much sweeter when you count your blessings, make plans for tomorrow, and live in today, versus dwelling on negative events or people. Just outstanding, Al. And Badger said, taking that heavy burden off your shoulders to move forward takes tremendous strength and wisdom. You can see how incredibly supportive our global family is. And John said, forgiveness is a solitary act. Self-forgiveness for past mistakes is really, really important. Very beautiful, John. And to steady improvement, fantastic, my friend. And thanks for reaching out. When we can't forgive or don't forgive, we get stuck in the past. And that means we can't move forward. Thank you, Flamingo. The key is, in order to forgive, letting it go is essential. Hold on to the good things and not to the bad things. Well said, Badger. Badger also added, forgiveness is a tough topic but a very important one. Vengeance does not belong to us. Life has a way of paying back the unjust, and it definitely does. Unforgiveness is like wearing a 100-pound belt and falling into the water. If we don't let it go, we will sink with it. It's important not to let unforgiveness weigh us down. When we let it go, we can freely swim back to the shore. Beautiful, Badger. And Brett shared something very, very fantastic, just like Peter did. Sometimes I have faced people who are willing to say absolutely anything to get their way, twist a half-truth into a convincing lie, scam and steal. Sometimes a trade went against me when I thought it would be a game changer. Forgiving yourself is about realizing that you did the best you could with the information at hand and the skills you possessed. Forgiveness is looking at what you did not lose, what you didn't lose, your integrity, your kindness, your commitment, your decency, and realizing that you can start again without losing yourself. Beautiful, Brett. Forgiveness is about realizing that opportunities reset daily and you can learn your way to freedom. Let that trauma go, as it serves no purpose whatsoever. As you can see here by these very, very insightful comments, forgiveness is a strength. It's a strength, a solitary strength. It's not meant for anybody else but you. Vicente said it really well. For me, to forgive is to forget the matter the next day. There is no one to change the past, and as Ken always said, life wants us to succeed. Thank you, my friend. I want to thank everybody for their incredibly insightful comments. Each and every day we have so much wisdom being shared in the comment section. I'd really urge you to check it out. There's so many I can't read out just because of time, but I want to thank everyone. I just think you're amazing, amazing people. I thought for tomorrow we could talk about respect. Respect is incredibly important, and it's something that's becoming very rare in our society. It's almost like people don't respect each other, which is very, very sad, because respect is really, really important. But what is it? How is it applied? And why does it belong in positive excellence? I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's have a look at the top 8. We can see from a purely technical perspective, Bitcoin is very, very close to breaking out. If Bitcoin manages to break out, we consider that around 30,000 would be the next level of resistance. But we know there's a lot of built up optimism inside the market. Unfortunately, the VIX has been coming down and down and down without any real retracement. And so we could actually witness a reduction in price. That's why it's incredibly important to have your A&F strategy always hammered out in advance. We can see Ethereum doing really, really well, getting nearly above that resistance. It's going fantastically. And we can see from and comparing it to Bitcoin's gravity, Ethereum has been so much stronger than Bitcoin. Same too with Binance Coin, very, very strong. Masterclass students, please let me know what you see in Binance Coin's chart. XRP, what do we see with XRP? XRP is a little bit weaker than Bitcoin, and this is really surprising because if you follow the XRP court case, it looks like XRP may actually win, but it's having its price suppressed. And let's have a look at Cardano at ADA. Well done, Charles, you're getting ADA to move. Ah, fantastic. And we can also see from Solana, Sol. Sol is doing really well. And you may notice that there's a lot of resistance levels that are just nearly getting past. So this is quite intriguing. We could see the markets going in one of two directions, but from a probabilistic stance, which one do you think is the more likely? Please let me know in the comments. And also, what is your A&F strategy for dealing with it if it goes in the other direction? We can see Doge very much getting up to that level of resistance. And if it can pass here, the next level of resistance will be at around 83.90. And it would be clear sailing up to 13,185 if it gets through this particular resistance zone. So that could be really interesting. There's a lot of really interesting things happening inside crypto from a technical aspect. But here's the thing. Don't make the mistake to only trade the chart in front of you. And it sounds like I'm actually contradicting a rule, but it's not a rule that is contradicted at all. What you have to look at is all the other charts related to the chart that you're looking at. And that sounds kind of weird. Hang on a sec, Ken. What do you mean? I'm going to trade Solana. I just need to look at Solana's chart. No, you need to look at Bitcoin's chart. And if you're looking at Bitcoin's chart, what else do you need to look at? Of course, you got it. All the main markets, oil, gold, everything, bond prices, bond yields, the NASDAQ, the VIX, the junk bonds. You need to look at all of it and a DXY as well. The easiest way to explain it, sometimes you'll see what looks to be a fantastic technical setup only to have the rug pulled out from underneath your feet because the macro setup is different. That's why inside the masterclass, we first mark up our charts, then we look at the outside trends. We actually understand what's going on inside the main markets, and that's really important. Crypto's actually a really tiny market. It's not as big as people think, and the main markets are absolutely huge, and the US market is the dominant giant amongst all. There's some really interesting chart patterns that I want to draw your attention to. We can see synthetics just accumulating, but just dealing with sellers at the moment. Synthetics has done incredibly well. Of course, people are taking profit. EGLD is doing very, very well, and it's coming up to a level of resistance at around the 83 mark. So it could be a very nice amount of profit, amount of BORSOGing that you could do in there. And don't forget, I don't recommend any of these projects. You must do your own research. But one thing I wanted to point out to you, for example, when you have a look at Flux, and we're seeing this kind of behavior in the market, you can see prices coming up and up, getting close to this resistance line. What happened when it got up to resistance? It actually pulled back. What happened next? After a pullback and a consolidation, it started to spike up towards these levels. And then what did it do? It started going further. You must keep these things in mind. When you get through a very heavy resistance level, you can expect behavior in crypto like this. So what do? Do we FOMO in? Do we say, oh, look at CRV, it's getting above resistance, it's going to party, it's going to fly? You must have your ANF strategy always first and foremost in your mind. And remember, all in or all out is a zone 1, zone 2 kind of behavior. We scale in. We're not like a light switch. We're more like a dimmer. We come on slowly and go out slowly. There are always opportunities inside crypto, and the opportunities literally reset by the minute. We're going to go through the crypto sectors looking for BORSOG opportunities. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. And thank you to the Ctks ambassadors for assisting masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and also links to the Crypto Trading KS Masterclass. Please seek out an ambassador through the links in the description of this video to get 80% off. And if you're going through financial hardship, there is a Ctks partial scholarship available too. That link is also in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. And have a great weekend. Bye for now.